The first brave thing I urge everyone to do is start practicing gratitude. Now, that sounds crazy that it's brave, but it is brave because it's honest. Hi, everyone. I'm Heather Vickery, and you're entering a world gone good.
Well, hello, my name is Steve, and you've entered the place where we shine the light and or find the light in the darkness to prove once again, I mean, how many times must I prove this to you people? Honestly, there is still good out there and lots of it. Well, at least 40-ish minutes of it based on the length of today's episode, but still. So today, I am making a request. Can you please go right now where you are listening and subscribe to this good little show? It is one click. I know, you've had a day, you've had a life, oh poor you. You have one click still in you, and I want it. We want it. You know what else you have in you? The ability to give us a rating and a review. Oh my God, I'm asking so much, I know. You can do it. Subscribe to us, rate us, review us, because when you do, you help more people join our cult. I mean podcast family. I've done that joke before. I know. Put it in your review. Be like, he's saying the same jokes again. I can't stand it. I've already heard this. To all of you who have already done so, and those of you who are still allowing me to babble away like this, we say, as always, drop dead. Just kidding. We say thank you. Okay, so here's the question of the day. Are you brave? That's it. That's your question. What is your answer? I think I'm pretty brave. I think I've become less brave. I'm willing to admit this as I've gotten older, but overall, I'm pretty brave. I am all about taking chances and making changes. Some people in my life say too many of those things. But how about you? How are you with taking chances? How are you with making change and changes? And how are you with being grateful and expressing and embracing it? Now, if you filled in all the bubbles completely, please pass your Scantron cards forward to the head of the class, and I will put them through the machine. Then we will have a much more accurate and a good assessment of just how brave you really are. Do you guys remember Scantrons? Okay, that's a whole other topic. My guest today is Heather Vickery, and through her company, Vickery and Co, she has created the Brave Method. She helps people turn their epic dreams into everyday reality because she believes we need to stop settling and start leveling up. It's time to get brave and roar. Let me hear you roar. Heather Vickery, we're going to start with a question that I believe you've never been asked.
Oh, okay. Bring it on, Steve.
I'm willing to bet you've never been asked this question. Pro or con? Heather, the movie Heathers, go.
I have been asked that question because my daughters are obsessed with it. And I think I'm in the middle. Listen, I'm an 80s, 90s child, so it was cultural.
Sure.
So I think I'm mostly pro, but also that was very fucked up. It was very fucked up. Now they've made it into a musical.
I know, I watched it.
And so that's what my daughters are, that's what they're obsessed with. So the movie was an afterthought for them, but they love the musical.
But they were brave girls.
Yes. Brave, psychotic girls. Yeah. Awesome.
And that sort of leads us into our conversation together. You are, I don't want to say obsessed with the word brave.
Yeah. Yeah. I am.
The first step is admitting it.
Well, I should say what I'm obsessed with is redefining what bravery means to every person, minute by minute, day by day. That's what I'm obsessed with.
Where'd that start?
Yeah, great question. So about a decade ago, I was obsessed with fear. I had on paper the perfect American life. I was married. We made great money. I had 4 perfect, well, So prior to, I now have 4 perfect children, and that came in that. But at the time, about 10 years ago, I only had 3, and I hated myself. I hated my life. Loved my kids, but every decision I made was fear based, and it stayed like that for a couple of years. Enter the 4th beautiful, desired, wanted, adored child. And then one morning, I guess this was about 9 years ago, I realized that by living a fear-based life, I was showing my girls that that's what they should choose. So to give you a tiny bit of a background, I had realized years before that I was married to the wrong gender. And that's a big thing to recognize. At the time, I owned an event and wedding planning business. So to be a wedding planner in the closet, planning people's weddings and wishing you weren't married to your spouse, that's a bit tough, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Right. And I had this perfect life. Like everyone just, they would walk into we had the loveliest house on the block and, all of these things. And I hated myself and I hated my life. And then finally I looked at my daughters over the breakfast table and I thought, what would I tell them if they came to me in this situation or something like this? What is the advice that I would give them? And of course it wasn't, you made your bed, now sleep in it, or suck it up. It wasn't any of those things. It was, baby girl, the world has been waiting for you to show up. It is time to show up. You get to play big, you get to be you, and everyone's going to be fine. And then I realized that if I wanted that for them, I had to do it myself. I had to show them how. So I burned my whole life to the ground. I closed my business. I started my coaching business. I moved out. I got a divorce. I got into a new partnership and never looked back. And it didn't mean I wasn't scared. It just meant I was honest and I was brave, because bravery shows up in a lot of different forms for us every single day. Some days getting out of bed is brave. Some days choosing to go for a walk is brave, or say no, or say yes, or have a piece of chocolate, or pick an apple, or whatever it is for you. You're probably going to have, 10 or 15 different opportunities to make a brave or not brave decision throughout your day. And when we redefine what it means to be brave, we find that we embrace bravery more often. Then you're going to take more risks. You're going to have more payoffs and bigger rewards, and it's super fucking contagious.
Did you really hate yourself though?
Oh, that's a great question. I felt pretty small.
Was it more, well, you said fear-based, right? So there was fear.
Yeah.
Were you disappointed in yourself? Were you confused in yourself? Let's really get it. Lay down on the couch.
I did not know this was a coaching therapy session. Thank you.
No,
very
because
much.
Listen, so many people listening resonate with what you're saying right now, and it may not be as deep or relationship based, career based, family based, but everyone has that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. They do. What I had done, and it took me years. So to be fair, I didn't know in the moment that I had all of these negative feelings. I just knew I felt really bad all the time. I never felt good. There was never anything good. And I'm not a clinically depressed person. I know people who are. I was suggested by somebody close to me, like, you need to get on meds. And my therapist was like, no, you don't. You're situationally depressed. This is a depressing situation. You're not a depressed person. And I'm not saying that it's bad if you are. I just wasn't, right? I'm just not.
Right.
It was years. I mean, I now have a method that's called the Brave Method, which helps people problem solve, build, dream, design, enact a life and a business that they're madly fucking in love with. And as I was building that, was a lot of reflection on my part. Well, what was I going through? What did that feel like? And I didn't like myself, and everything felt hard. I sort of felt weighted down. And it was multiple things. It was, of course, being in the closet. The best way I can describe coming out, and I did it, I started doing it really slowly. I would take like one person out to lunch or dinner, and I would tell them, and I can remember how it feels. So, how when you're about to do something terrifying, like my chest would cave in and my neck would get hot and the hairs on the back of my neck would stand up, and I would take a big deep breath and I would say it. And inevitably, because I'm like the luckiest person on the planet, everyone said, oh, all right, cool. One of my friends said, God, I thought you were going to tell me you were moving. That's it. That's what she said. was like, I love you for that.
Because she didn't want to help you move. That
Right.
was the
She
main
didn't,
reason.
no,
Yeah.
she loved me. She didn't want me to move away,
Oh, I'm
Steve.
sorry. Got you. Sorry. Got you.
Yeah.
Got you. Go ahead.
Okay. Everyone was really great. There were some hiccups with my family. That's all worked itself out. And then one day I got to a point where I was able to naturally come out, which is, for folks who aren't LGBTQ, it never stops. We do it multiple times a day, every day. We don't have a choice, but it didn't feel terrifying. Right. So there was that. There was, parenting authentically. There was hurting people that I loved and cared about, including my then spouse. Getting a divorce is so hard. It's not, we don't get married to get divorced. Even if it's the right thing, it doesn't make it easy. It's certainly not fun. It's very painful. All these years later, it's still painful for so many reasons, right? It's learning to live with, am I going to traumatize my children? All of these things, right? So multiple layers of things. And it's led me to recognizing, and I love to help people come clear on this. We have mixed emotions. We can be afraid and excited at the same time. We can do things that feel great and be afraid of them at the same time. We can be brave and scared at the same time. It's all okay.
It's interesting because I was in a terrible relationship, and I started to realize I was in a terrible relationship roughly, I'd say, 3 months into the relationship. And like many of us, I spent the next 3.5 years building that relationship because I was going to fix it.
Oh,
I was
yeah.
going to make it.
You're
I was
a
going to make it
fixer.
work.
Uh-huh.
I'm a fixer, everybody. But look, I think many of us have been there. When
For
the
sure.
relationship was done, I fell even deeper depression, situational, just like you're talking about. Mine became seasonal, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Fall and spring. Those were the hard times. Not anymore, thank God. But had gained all this weight. And hilariously, I was doing marketing for a show called The Biggest Loser. And I've told this story on here before.
My ex-husband and I used to watch The Biggest Loser while eating all the junk food we could get our hands on. That was
Everyone does. So I was editing promos for it, and I'm like leaning forward because I had this. They gave me this really tiny monitor, right? These two big monitors and a tiny one. So I'm trying to look at this monitor, and I'm like leaning. I'm like, what's wrong with this desk? And then I look down. I'm like, it's not the desk, dude. It's you. It's the
ouch.
8-month-old baby that's in your stomach at the moment. And I realize I have to, get the physical side going as well as the mental side. So I tell you all this because I wound up going to this place called Barry's Boot Camp. I've spoken about it before. It's now, I believe, just called Barry's. Barry himself, there were only 2 locations, taught morning classes. I'm in a class with Barry. I'm running on a treadmill. It's my second or third day doing this thing. I have no stamina, no cardio ability, and I'm failing.
But are you?
I didn't know at the time, right? But I'm watching all these great people around me, and everybody's in great shape, and I'm the one who's falling behind, and I shouldn't be here, and I don't deserve it, and all those things. And he comes up and he stands on the treadmill, and we're all running on the treadmills, and he is giving everybody the orders, and he's do the push-ups, do this, do that. And he pushes the microphone down and he leans into my ear and he just whispers, "Stop thinking, just move."
There you go. Yeah.
That has stayed with me my whole life. So on that note, don't worry, I'm going to edit that. It was very long. I'm going to clean that up. But on that note, to you, yes, this is what I want to ask. When was your move moment?
Yeah.
Your physical, let's get going.
Right. So first of all, I love that. Also, I like to lean into my moments of not thinking, just doing with intention. So we can circle back around to that later because I do think it's really important. But it was that moment at breakfast with my girls. That was my go moment. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. I don't know how to do this, but I know it needs to get done. So I'm going to decide right now in this moment to lean into that.
Did someone say something? Did you have a spark? I asked this so many times of my guests.
The spark was, what would I do if my kids were in this situation? How would I help them? And then the why of, I want them to know that they can do anything they most desire doing and that they can be their most authentic self. And I believed that in order for them to know that they could do it, they had to see me do it. That was my moment. That's my why. And sometimes it sucks still because they don't want to hear what I have to say, but I know they're watching and I know they're paying attention. And that started, so much work, and I still spend so much time on surrender, which I think is something related to what you were telling about your boot camp story. First of all, from where I stand, you were the bravest person in the room because you didn't know how to do it. You didn't have the stamina. Everybody else, they were way ahead of you, and you still fucking showed up. That's what
and I can look at that now. I can look at that now, right? But when you're in it,
sure.
And this is something every listener knows, right? When you're in it, you're like, it's too much. I'm drowning. I don't know. I shouldn't be here. I don't have the right outfit on. I'm not breathing. I'm not drinking. Everyone's looking at me. You know what I mean? Look all the shit you think.
Yeah. Absolutely. So that's where, for me, that part of the BRAVE method is an acronym, and the R stands for the 3 R's: reassessment, reframing, resilience. That's where that comes into play. So I'll share a really cool story for you. You shared your Barry story. I'll share my Oprah story. I really believe in the power of intention, and I have for a very long time. We may not know how we're going to get where we want to go, but deciding we want to and why, putting that intention behind it, is the most incredible and most important first step. So I believe in that. I have for a long time. In 2019, I had the absolute honor and privilege of attending a conference where the two main keynote speakers were Barack Obama and Oprah Winfrey. That was a cool room to be in. And Oprah was there to talk about breakthroughs. And she tells the story of starting her talk show. And early on, like right in the very beginning, she had the KKK on. Now, in her brain, in her mind, she was going to show them for what they were worth. She was going to put it all out there and just decimate them. Except that very quickly into the interview, she realized they were doing that to her. And she was like, I don't know how to get out of this. And she went to her producers after it was over and said, I will never, ever do a show again where I don't know why my guest wants to be on the show, where I don't understand their intention and their behavior. And at that moment, I switched to making sure I knew why. What was my intention behind everything? So from what she eats, where she sleeps, where she travels, who she interviews, everything. She said, everything I do with intention. You may choose to think that I'm intentional because I'm Oprah, but I'm here to tell you I'm Oprah because I chose to be intentional. There's our mic drop moment, right? Like, she's Oprah because she chose to be intentional. You can be anyone you want, but you got to be intentional about it. And you showed up. You showed up at boot camp. That's intention.
It's so simple. And I've talked about it on the show before. I talk about it with friends. I talk about it with certain family members who are listening right now going, oh God, he says this all the time. You can get up any morning. You can do it right now. Anything you're thinking negative, you can turn it positive. You have that ability.
Yep.
And simply, you can turn a negative thought positive by not thinking it anymore.
Well, but you know what? That simplifies something that I think is really hard for people. We don't just all of a sudden not think about something or not feel something. To me, the power of that work is, and I don't know if you're familiar with Kristen Neff's work on self-compassion, but it's really game-changing, is you are going to think the things you think, you're going to feel the way you feel, and the sooner you acknowledge those feelings and emotions without judgment, the faster you can move through them and do something different.
But the difference is, if I may, what you just said, think and feel.
Yeah.
Those are two very different things.
Well, they are different, but what we feel dictates what we think. And when we can be honest about what we feel, we can shift what we think.
Exactly. Yeah. And also, I always say, example right now, my play is going to go up in March. I haven't put a play up. Thank you. I haven't put a new show up in going on, my God, 20 years, 18, 19 years.
You sound like you're only 18, 19 right now.
Go on. And I can honestly tell you, I have so many phone calls out to so many people who are just not responding. And I'm absolutely fine with it.
Yeah, you have to be.
Old Old me would lose his fucking
Yeah.
mind. Why are you
Yeah.
responding? I have a deadline. Why are you answering me? This is a great thing. New me is like, okay, well, a no response means is a no. You're not
Yeah.
interested.
The right people will find you.
That's right. Or you're waiting. You're making me wait because you're waiting on something, which is
Mm-hmm.
totally acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
have the utmost respect for the people who respond to me and say, "Can I let you know in 2 weeks?
Sure.
Can we table this a little bit? Blah, blah, blah." I have that thing going on right now, and this is a lot of things in life, right? This is not happening until March. March to many people, thanks to the pandemic, seems like 100 years from now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just launched. So I sent an email to my newsletter subscribers just this morning telling them a story about my choice to cut my income in half this year. I had a program that was thriving with clients that I loved and adore, still love and adore, but it had grown in a way that no longer felt aligned with me, and it didn't feel good to show up to work. Well, I am a coach. I have to feel good when I show up to work in order to do the best job for my clients. So I let it phase out. I've completed working with everyone, of course, and I had a renewed energy for doing so once I decided I didn't have to keep selling it and keep promoting it. And I didn't have a backup plan. I didn't know what I was going to do. I felt very uncreative. I just knew that wasn't it anymore. And I really re-entered a space of total and complete surrender. That all timing is divine. What's meant for me will find me. And as the weeks turned into months, I had to really fight to stay surrendered and stay in an abundance mindset. Because I do believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that what we believe to be true is what is true for us. That mind matters and mindset matters and words matter and all of that. And then a couple months ago, what was here for me showed up. It just showed up literally like a cartoon with a light bulb. I got down a pen and paper. I wrote it all out. I had the whole thing figured out, totally different than anything I've done before, but based on what I'd learned from all of my past program experiences. And I'm doing it totally differently. I now am saying, hey, something exciting is coming. I'm putting finishing touches out. Check it out. And I'm not fucking with people. Like, I'm not playing a game. I want them to know I'm excited, and I'm going to open a wait list on it because I want the people who are so into what I do and the work that I do, and they just want to be in the room and want to know what's coming. I want those people in this program. I'm not just taking anybody's money. And the program doesn't start until January. So that's where we get the similarity, right? I want you to come in. I want you to get excited. I'm going to tell you all the good details. I want you to sign up. And then we're going to wait.
But you can do a much better job. I say this kindly because I can too, with a smaller base of people.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Than a giant mass. Like I can't, I can't write for 1,000 people, 1,000,000 people, but I can do damn good with 25 of you.
Yeah, for sure. And this is intimate work, right? Like, this is still live coaching. This is still hands-on. It's hard work for people. What I do, it's not for the weak of heart. This shit is hard. We're being really honest with ourselves. We're breaking things down. We're figuring out, we're dreaming big. How do we make this work? We're getting past our limiting voices. Like, it's hard work. And so you want to feel safe and you want to feel secure. And I don't want to start that going into the holidays because people won't be able to put all their intention in. So they'll have access to me. We'll be doing some warm up things prior to the program starting in January, but it's more take this leap of faith with me and trust me. I've got you. We're going to do amazing fucking things together. And if they're not into that, then they don't need to sign up for it.
Well, they have to be brave. And speaking of which, let's go over this now. You have 2 podcasts, The Brave Files and Was It Chance? Is that correct?
That is correct.
You have a live weekly show on YouTube called Brave in Action. You have a newsletter. I don't want to say newsletter, email letter. What do you?
I don't do like a big blog thing. That doesn't feel honest or aligned for me. I think some people do it really well. The newsletter that goes out tells people what's coming in the live show and why they would want to listen to the podcast episodes. And then if I have like a thing, I put it in there, right? Like if I'm like, this is what I'm thinking about today and I wanted to share it with you guys, I put it in there. So sometimes you get little tidbits. What I do Do. What I
Doo-doo.
do send out every week, though, that I think is really powerful is I do weekly brave affirmations. So when you subscribe to my email list, every Thursday, you get a brave affirmation for the week and a little coaching behind it and ways that you can embody it. And I love it. And it's been so fun. I get responses every week. People say, oh my God, this is what I needed today. This is how I'm using this. And that's really exciting.
What's your favorite thing to do out of all those things?
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, there's the dog. Can you hear
There's
him?
the dogs. Yeah, sure.
I feel very fortunate that I have been able to build my life and my business in a way that I very rarely do things that I don't like doing. And I recognize there's a lot of privilege in that, but I do it in capsules when it feels like it's the right thing for me to do. I love the live shows when people are there, because if you show up to my live show, Steve, I know you're there. I'm going to talk directly to you. I'm going to say, oh, when we did our interview, Steve, we talked about this. Do you remember that?
Right.
Right. And I get really excited. So I love keynote speaking. I love being on stage and actually connecting with people. That's what I love about coaching. Podcasting is different from me because it's not revenue producing. It's passion. It's passion project. And I love it. So it's congruent to my work, the Brave Files. I interview people who've stepped out of fear and into bravery in every possible way. But I'm not promoting my stuff. I'm not selling my stuff. I'm just telling the stories of people who are out there doing the fucking thing and showing up. Was It Chance is my newest little baby, and I co-produce and co-host that with my friend Alan Seals, who is the co-founder of the Broadway Podcast Network. And we interview highly creative, highly successful people about the risks that they've taken, the chance that they've taken that led them down their creative path. And we just have fun. Like those moments when I get to interview with Alan, I laugh more in those 2 hours a week than I do all week long. And we giggle because when we listen back to the episodes, I just laugh. I just laugh and laugh and laugh and laugh. And I mean, who doesn't want that in their life?
I have been catching up on your Brave Files podcast.
Oh, thanks.
And over the summer, you did something interesting. You kind of repeat. Back in the day, kids, we called them repeats.
Yep.
But you selected some of your favorite shows, or the most listened to shows, or shows that you wanted to get more love to?
All of those things. Yeah. So I've already said earlier that the beginning of this year sort of entered into a pullback and surrender phase. I knew that I needed a lot of space for myself, a lot of self-care. There's some personal stuff going on that needed my attention more than just about anything else. And then as we got into summer, I really, my oldest is about to turn 18. My youngest had just turned 9. I want to be present. I want to spend time with them. And I just decided I needed a little podcast break, which is a really scary thing to do as a podcaster. And after being live for, every single week for 4.5 years, it was a really big risk.
Sure.
And so I chose, I think I did a 9-week break. Episodes, again, top played episodes, ones that meant the most to my heart, and episodes that I felt like really deserved to be heard again. I mean, my catalog is huge. There's 240 episodes, right? So even if you said you're catching up, like you're probably not catching up 240 episodes worth.
No.
Right?
Trying.
So exactly, right? So you can always go back and look and pick what you want. But I wanted to bring some of those things back to the forefront. And now I'm rebuilding momentum on it. So my subscribers stayed, but the non-subscriber listenership went down. Why? I don't really know, because I released them as fresh episodes, but I was honest, like our summer replay list, you're doing all of that. And so now we're sort of rebuilding it, and that's just really okay. It has to be okay. I have great content coming out right now. I mean, really fucking badass content, incredible interviews. So exciting.
That's great. It's interesting though, because I do it every now and then. I'll take a break. I'll just take a break when I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. I'll take a break when I have other projects going on. And I laugh always because this past week, I had 2 of the highest downloaded days I've ever had, and I haven't put out new content in 3 weeks. At that point, anyone listening right now, you'll have no understanding of this because we record in advance. None of the math works out. This is podcast math. Like, I literally want to do like a show called Podcast Math.
Which is just a bunch of nonsense.
It's a bunch of nonsense. But I do have a question for you, because this is a question I get a lot. Do you feel that you can be your more authentic self when you and I right now, I can't see you. I choose to just record audio. You and I were talking about this before we started recording. Many other podcasters like to record video with it. I find that my guests are more comfortable. And they're not their, I say this kindly, celebrity version, their Instagram version of themselves. Are you more authentic when you're podcasting?
So that's a really great question. And that is 100% the line I told people when I did audio only podcast recording. And I believed it. I believe it. I understand. When I'm doing one-on-one coaching calls, 1 hour coaching calls, we don't do them via Zoom for the same reason. Because it allows people to not feel physically judged, to not worry about how they physically show up in the space, or if their lighting is good, or if, I'm going to judge their couch or their pillows or, whatever, right? However, for me personally, you ask me that question, I have done enough work because I practice what I preach. I have a coach. I believe in I wouldn't sell something I didn't believe in. I'm going to show up however I'm feeling that day, no matter what. And a great example is I was a guest on Your First $1 Million Year Summit earlier in the week. It's a great summit, lots of cool people on it. I was a guest expert on it, and I had a fucking hoodie on and my hair was up because that was what I was doing that day. That's how I felt. That was the energy I had. I could be there. I could give the content.
I would love if you had said, "Oh my God, I'm in April 2020. Are you the future? Are you like if you played like you were like in the past and somehow you broke into a future?" Okay, go ahead. I'm going.
Yeah, no, exactly. So but I do that because it's authentic to me, and the people that are going to be attracted to me appreciate that. Some days I want to get up and put on a cute outfit and do my makeup and hair, and I'm going to bring you my, celebrity Instagramness. And some days that you're not getting that, but you're always getting me and whatever feels authentic to me. I also am famous. I mean, famous is a stretch of a word. I've decided I'm famous for going on TikTok in my robe in the morning. There are so many TikToks of me literally in my hot pink robe with my coffee and my morning hair. Like, this is what I'm thinking right now, folks. So I've just decided that I'm going to always be me. So it doesn't matter to me.
If you could simplify to anyone who's listening, 2 or 3, as many as you want, easy things to do right now, just to be brave, what would they be?
The first brave thing I urge everyone to do is start practicing gratitude. Now that sounds crazy, that it's brave, but it is brave because it's honest. Practicing gratitude. So I'm certified in positive psychology, and practicing gratitude is one of the few things that's been scientifically proven to decrease stress, anxiety, and depression while increasing overall joy, happiness, and well-being. What you can't do is just keep it in your head. You got to get it out. I've written 2 gratitude journals. Use one of those. Use a notebook. Put it on your phone. Say it out loud. I don't care how you do it. 3 to 5 things you're grateful for and why. The reason that it shifts us is because it's way back to the conversation we had when we first started this interview, which is it shifts the way you think. It shifts the way you feel. It reminds you that it's not so bad, that there's hope, that things can change, that you're not alone in the world. And it's fucking brave to be that honest with yourself. So start a gratitude practice. It will change your life. You don't even have to believe me for it to work. You just have to do it. But you have to do it consistently. So try it for like a week at the same time of day, every day for a week, and see what happens. I guarantee you it'll shift you. The other brave thing is being kind to yourself. So start being really aware of how you talk to yourself. Keep a list. And you'll interrupt that pattern behavior very quickly just by being aware. And that's brave because it's hard to do. We don't really want to know how mean we are to ourselves or how much we don't trust ourselves. But as soon as you know, you're going to change. You're going to start changing right away because it does not feel good. I'll give you those two.
And my last question before we wrap up with my final 3 questions that I show in every
So your
show
last question, which is really the fourth question.
It's the 4th question. I've done that before. I've said that before. I'm like, hold on. It's that podcast math we talked about. I'm at the big whiteboard, everybody. What would you go back in time to you sitting at that table with your daughters? What would you now tell that woman then?
She's not broken. She's just in the process. And life is complicated. And we haven't made mistakes. We haven't made mistakes, Heather. We've been doing the best we can with the information we've got. And now we have new information and you can make a different choice.
We end these shows with 3 questions. Don't worry, I always say this. You know all the answers. Easiest one first. Here it comes. You've already kind of done it. Don't worry, but we're going to go over it. Who are you? Where do we find you? Plug away.
Ooh, plug. So my daughters think I'm a celebrity because if you Google Heather Vickery, my website and my pictures pop up. We all know that's really good SEO, but don't tell them because I want them to think I'm cool. My website is vickeryandco.com. I am fairly active on Instagram and Twitter, which is how Steve and I met, at Vickery and Co. And I fucking love TikTok. I don't drop a lot of professional content, but I have a great time there and I do post, and I'm at Brave Heather on TikTok. Come see my live show. You can find it on YouTube and Instagram. The link to all this shit, when we simplify it, is vickeryandco.com/social. It shows you where you can get to me in all the ways. But the live show's fun. It's 15 to 20 minutes of some cool way that you can step into bravery every day. And I respond to everybody who shows up, and I'm just a real person on the other end, and I'd love to be your friend.
The second to last question that we love to ask our guests is very simple. Who inspires you?
Oh, man, a lot of people inspire me. My mom inspires me. She also drives me crazy, but nobody has ever supported me more than her, and she's sacrificed everything in order for me to have anything. And she's so resilient, and it's very inspiring. Oprah inspires me. That won't surprise anybody. And I would say my partner, who's a very different person than me, but when we first met, she said, I make dreams happen. That's what I do. And she does, hers and mine and all of her clients. And it's just really cool. And you inspire me, Steve.
My partner would.
You do.
My partner would inspire you too.
I bet so.
Our partner should not meet. It'd be too much inspiration.
No, you inspire me because I love going out and bringing good to the world. We don't do enough of that. So I'm glad you're doing it. Thank you.
It's so simple. And it's like what you do. It's a simple little things can make change.
Absolutely. In fact, they're the only things that do.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
We close these shows with the final question. It's not a question. It can go back to anything you want to say, that you have said or want to say. Tell me something good.
Okay. Something good is that on Sunday, October 9th, Santa is coming early to my house, dropping off a really big box, playing some Christmas music, and surprising my children with Harry Styles tickets for that night.
What?
It's really good. Because those tickets are hard to get, and I busted my ass to get them. They're so excited. They're going to be so excited. They're going to totally lose their damn minds.
Oh,
it's good.
That's very good.
It's very good, right? I love live entertainment, all of it. I love live theater. I love live music. And I love watching my kids have live experiences. So we're going to have a good time.
Thank you, Heather, for sharing your good. Visit vickeryandco.com to learn much, much more. Next time on World Gone Good.
we know each other because I was running a rescue called Connect Pet Rescue, and Allison, through a mutual friend, came to volunteer for us. And she was such a hard worker, and you could tell she had the passion for it. So really, I just sucked her in, whether she knew it or not. I was like, she's not leaving. She's going to be a part of this. And look, I'm so successful. We're 22 years later, I think, at this point, and it's still working.
I can't get away from her.
We are taking my two favorite things, dogs and alcohol, and mixing them together. Not literally. Everyone calm down. I'm not getting a bunch of dogs drunk here. Julia Pennington and Allison Lang met rescuing animals. And then in the craziest plot twist ever, they opened a business selling vodka where every single sale goes to help an animal in need. They are the combined good force behind the award-winning Hera the Dog Vodka. I'm going to say that again because it is quite possibly the best name of a company I've ever heard. Hera the Dog. Hera the Dog, Hera, the Dog Vodka. They're coming on in to share their good adventures with us, and I cannot wait for you to hear this one. Until then, be good.